All right, so in order for us to do our musical podcast, in which you're going to be choosing a favorite piece of music or a piece of music that you want to talk about, and splitting it into its parts and describing the parts that you like and such, the first thing that you need to have is actual audio, the MP3 file of the musical piece that you have. As it turns out, I have in my output folder on my desktop a copy of Blue Ridge Mountains, the audio, that I used for one of the presentations that I've done before. And in fact, if we preview the audio, it sounds a little something like this. And yes, there's a little bit of white noise at the beginning. And if I fast forward to later on in the song, you can still hear. So the audio is there. I have the whole MP3 file ready to go. So the first thing that you need to do is in Audacity, you need to open up a new project. So what I'm going to do is open up Audacity. And once I do so, I'm going to make sure too that all of my microphones and stuff are correct. This time I'm going to make sure that my recording is not that, but it's the Snowball. I'm actually using an added mic. And sure enough, my microphone is working really well. So in either case, now that I have the correct microphone configured for this, the first thing I'm going to do with this project is I'm going to put the MP3 file in. So what you have to do in order to put your audio file into the Audacity project is you click the File, then you scroll down to this menu where it says Import, and you're going to choose Audio. Once you get to this point, you actually have to navigate to the place where your audio file has been saved. Well, our audio file today has been saved on this PC, and it has been saved in a folder called Output. So I'm going to go ahead and pick Blue Ridge Mountains, and I'm going to click Open. And what you'll see is the entire MP3 file has been put into this project. We will use this MP3 file to sample, to cut, to paste, and then at the end of this, we're actually going to not need this file to be part of it, but we're just going to simply mute it when we finish our project. But this is the source of all the audio that we're going to use that comes from the music. In fact, if you listen to I'm going to navigate in the selection tool, you can actually hear it playing at this point. Now I'm going to go back to the beginning of the selection. The second thing that you need in a project like this is actually going to be another track. You're going to have to add another track, and that's going to be where you place your sampled music. So I'm going to click Tracks, Add New, and because this is going to be copied and pasted from a stereo track, it needs to go into a stereo track. So I'm going to click Add New Stereo Track. So this track is obviously blank right now. It doesn't have anything in it. This is where we're going to copy and paste our audio into when we actually start sampling things and the like. The last thing that you need to do then is you are going to create one more track. And that other track is going to be in a mono track because you're going to record your voiceover. And when you record your voiceover, you are actually going to do it in mono. So in order to create a mono track, you simply hit Tracks, Add New, Mono Track, and now this last track down here is currently empty, but this will be the track where you will finally record your voiceover when you start doing it. So this is the basic setup for a project to do a podcast about a musical piece that you're going to be sampling, discussing, and going in and out. So just a quick recap, we have the audio itself. We have a track where you're going to be copying and pasting parts of the audio, and you're going to be editing the audio in this second track right here. And then the third track is a mono track, and that's where you're going to be recording your voice when you start discussing things. So that is the basic setup. The very last thing that you need to do in your basic setup is you have to save your project. So I'm going to hit File, Save Project As. It's going to say, yeah, I say, okay, that's fine. And I'm going to say that I'm going to name this musical podcast, not modcast, podcast 1. And I'm just going to name it that. I'm going to save the file in my Audacity projects file. And we should be good to go. That is your basic setup for your podcast. Thank you.